Well, greetings. This is Dr. Bill White again with the American Orthodontic Society, and I am going to hope to do about 3 videos today in defense of extracting teeth and doing orthodontics. Now, there's some groups that think God gave you all these teeth and you got to stick them all in the mouth, and but they back them up, or they make the face too full, so they back them up, and then they take out the wisdom teeth. So this is ridiculous. So in the treatment of this, we're going to take the bicuspids out, and we'll move the molars forward to take up part of the space and go back with the anterior part to take up the rest of the space, and we'll correct the class 2 problem in many of the cases. Now, this first case is loaded with all sorts of things. An impacted tooth, a supernumerary tooth that's impacted, of course, and it's growing straight up underneath the nose. And I sent this patient to the oral surgeon. He said I could have removed the tooth going in from the nose if I could have gotten to it. We'll show you that one. Show you that when we get to it with the case. So let's get started on it. It's going to take a good while here to get this going. Let me get my little arrow out so I can write on here. I can't talk without doing a little writing on the screen up here. Let's go. Here's a young lady who is very full in the face. You look at it like that, and she is the facial structure is just fuller than needs to be, and the teeth are extremely crowded. And if you think you should not remove teeth, this is, to my thinking, ridiculous. Now, some people do it regardless, and they back up the teeth, but then they have to take out the wisdom teeth, and they don't consider that teeth, I guess. They say they're non-extraction. Now here we save the wisdom teeth, and this is going to be a long, drawn-out orthodontic case because you start them quite young. Let's get going on this now, and you look at it straight on. She's got a little excess vertical height of the face in here, but not all that much. Now, the parents of the case like this, one parent was a thin-faced person, another was a broad-faced person, and the teeth on the broad-faced person are now in the narrow-faced person in the child that's born. So a lot of orthodontics is started before people marry. They say, when does it start? Well, it started back when these people married and they had children, and in the genetic thing, the large face person with the bigger teeth is in the teeth are in the bone structure of the thinner face person, and that's where we need the case. Now let's get going in a hurry. This is the bite's closed a little bit, and it's a class 2 case. It has a real rare supernumerary tooth right in between the centrals, growing right up, coming out through the nose. If it had erupted all the way, it would be in the part of the nose. I sent her to an oral surgeon, and he took the tooth out. He said it would have been easier if it had gone in through the nose and extracted this tooth. So this got a whole host of problem things here. This lateral is turned sideways and tucked underneath there, so the midline is kind of off on this side right there. Now let's get on through this. Now you look on the other side, and it'll be a class 2 case. The bite's slightly closed, and this is pediatric dentists are putting in so many of these darn stainless steel crowns. I think that's where they make a lot of extra money, and they put these stainless steel crowns in. That makes your orthodontics a little worse because they are maybe bigger than they should be, but they work all right and you can work with them. But one of these is up there where it delays the eruption of the permanent tooth underneath it. So let's so that's just a problem they have. Now we're starting this case. Let me go back here to this model. No, I don't have the models up here. The time is 91, seemed like when we started. And it's going to be several years before we finish because we're going to have to wait on some of these teeth coming in. Now, in a case where you're going to extract teeth anyway, it's not as necessary to do the reduction of the deciduous cuspids. This would be a tough one to deal with like that. Now here's the cephalometric picture that we've got, and you see they've got a closed bite. It's down over the teeth here too much, and then we got a distance here of about 4 or 5 millimeter overjet, and overbite is more too, and that's where we're going. Now when you look at it, here's the central tooth, and here's the central tooth over here, and this is a supernumerary tooth right here. And this tooth is headed right under the floor of the nose. It's right up in here. And the old surgeon took it out. He told us that I could have gone in through the nose, but working with the separating the nose to get it out would be a big problem. So he went in and took the tooth out. So we're going to extract that tooth to start with. We knew it had to go. And then we're going to come back and take out the first bicuspids on the case. You can't tell it on that picture right there. Now this is, these teeth are marked improperly here. So the teeth that we're going to remove are these teeth right here, the first bicuspid. Now we have another thing in this case that I want to show you. That's the follicular movement of the teeth. This follicle that forms around these teeth. And now when we take this tooth out, the follicle will push. Now of course we got the supernumerary tooth out too. Now this is a permanent lateral. We're not going to take it out. We're going to turn it around and keep it, of course. And these X's right here, just forget about them. So we're taking out the first bicuspid. And look where this cuspid is coming right into the roots of this lateral. Down here doing a similar thing. The cuspid has no room to get in there. And when we eliminate these teeth, these first bicuspids, then the cuspid tooth will move back here because of the follicle. It'll round out and it pushes against this tooth right here and moves out. And you watch that take place. That's what I call follicular movement of the teeth. You don't have to do anything except make a space, or the follicle cannot push a tooth, but it can go through bone structure simply very, just moves through the bone. It'll get the bone out of the way. Now this is 91. It's going to take a lot of work here on this pediatric tooth and case, and the pediatric dentist has said they put these stainless steel crowns on, which makes it a little bit more of a problem. It's going to delay, and I don't know if that's the reason, but this tooth right here I think is going to be late coming in. Now we're seeing this young lady, and here it is in 1994, and we're just getting started good on this case. Now, young people started in orthodontic school are going to go 2 years or 3 years after they become dentists in there, and they don't have time to start a case like this and carry it all the way to the end. So a lot of the people in dental school or in orthodontic school even have never treated a case like this from start to finish. They'll pick up somewhere somebody else started and finish it, or start one and get out and someone else finishes it. And so this is something you can learn, but you're going to take years to actually do a lot of these cases that are this complicated. All right, now here's you can watch through here. This got a little defect in the front of that tooth right there, and that lateral sideways and in there when we take this out. So I'm going to go pretty fast through here, and if you slow it down yourself and study the case. Now we're going to get ready and get the first bias out, and I'll show that on a whole string of x-rays here, Panorex x-rays. Now this is wrong here. We're going after the tooth up here, not the laterals. So that got marked wrong, and I don't know whether that's the first Panorex that we started here, and then we'll also take out these teeth right here. You'll watch the follicle now move this cuspid away from this lateral tooth. This cuspid right here is right on top of or behind this lateral, and we've got to turn this lateral around, and we'll move that. Now, after these are removed, this super duper tooth, there'll be a little more. It doesn't make any room though, because these teeth are jammed right up against that. So let's go now. This is another Panorex here, and I forget the number of it, but it's third or fourth, and we've taken some baby teeth and stuff like that, but we still haven't removed the first bicuspid. And so you see these teeth. Now look at this follicle. It's right over and bumping against the root of that tooth. This one over here is worse. I mean, it's right over. In other words, one of these teeth is in front of the other one, and I think the cuspid may be kind of out in front of the lateral there. And so we've taken the baby teeth out in some area. So now we're going to come in and eliminate all of this down through here. And there's a place for removing teeth. I don't care what they say, and they shouldn't do it, but when people get mixed up, in America we're a mixture of people. You don't know what you've got in here. Now, I worked in Africa for about 3 years, and I went to schools, and every child in there had room for their teeth. I didn't have to do any orthodontics. On everybody in the school, I took out one supernumerary tooth, and all the rest of the kids had protrusive faces, but that was the way they were. And that, you mix those people up, though, with some other groups of people, and you're going to get a large face and large teeth, and trying to stick them in a small person is just ridiculous to my way of thinking. Now, those people that like it, I don't want to get them hacked off at me, but that's true. Now let's watch this. Now let's go to another Panorex, and we still haven't removed those teeth, but watch especially this cuspid coming down, and that's that lateral that's turned and we're going to have to rotate it, and it's right on top. It looks like it's completely out, but it's in front of or behind that lateral tooth. Now this follicle will move this tooth out here. This was going right here. This will come here, and this tooth will come off of that and move back in that direction. It doesn't matter. You just give it some room, and you can get the follicle to move the tooth, or nature moves it. Now we've cleaned this out. We've taken out teeth like that. Now look where this tooth is. You see it's headed out. Look at the space between these two teeth here and here. And this tooth that was over the top of that now is over the side. I'm going to go back one picture, and you look at that real close, and now watch those teeth move out. Now that's about halfway off of it, and these follicles, and I've got several videos on follicular movement, and there's a lot of stuff on follicular cysts that form too. Now watch the next x-ray we're going to come in here and do, and you'll see that tooth moves over here, and it's moving, and see that follicle, push that away. These teeth are lined up now. They're almost ready to come in the mouth. Now we were watching this deciduous tooth over here has the erupting force ate away the dentin and the roots of the tooth, but this stainless steel crown is kind of a pain, and it's got a filling in here, and so it's not coming up through there. This one's just stayed down there, and we've been in here for a few years already, and there's no way you can do this overnight on a case like this. Now we've also got a step-down arch in here, which is holding this space open, and we put a step-down arch over there. It'll show that later on, and we've got an intruding force on the step-down arch, which is trying to keep these teeth down. And now this is almost over. Let's go back and see. Let's go one more x-ray here. Now this x-ray is in 1995, and it was, I think it's 90 we started that. This tooth is completely off here, and it's erupting into the mouth. Now these actually have room. The follicles has moved it that far away from this tooth that it was running into over here. And this is something you need to learn about. And then you rotate this lateral, put it in place, and now we have moved these teeth forward some, and at the end, I didn't wait till the wisdom teeth came in. I'd been there long enough, but she had room enough for these wisdom teeth to erupt in the mouth. Now this tooth over here has been delayed. It's trying to come up here, but it's not eating the root away like this one did. So there's something wrong here. You recognize that and get that deciduous tooth with that stainless steel crown out of there. And we're holding the space open with a step-down arch in part of it. And we took that tooth out. Now this tooth is erupting, but the root is going down further. And as this root grows, it pushes the crown up. The root over on this tooth is already lined up with the rest of the root. So it's going to take a while getting this tooth into place right there. And I don't give a darn who you are. You're not going to speed the eruption of that tooth up. It's going to take a while to do it. You can go in and take the tissue off of it and kind of help it to some extent to get that in, but the tooth is growing the root down here, and it's pushing the crown up. It finally makes it in there, and we've got plenty of room for these wisdom teeth to drop in the mouth later on, but we don't wait we've been in here a long time to start with, and we don't wait for those wisdom teeth to come in, but they'll come in. And if one of them doesn't make it, you can go in there, and we showed how to upright wisdom teeth last week in a case where they come in 2 or 3 years after you finish the case. Now this tooth is starting to grow in now, and the root is kind of coming up with the rest of the teeth. And in the next video, if I've got one, okay, the tooth is in place now. It's up there, and we'll have to close that space. We still have that step down arch in here while we're holding the space for that tooth. And the wisdom teeth, if this one sticks here, you can put a separator in, or you can just upright the tooth if it doesn't make it up in there. Now the upper ones will come in pretty easy. The lower ones, when we take these bands off, these will move forward to some extent, and this should come on through there. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now this is a 10th Panorex x-ray that we've taken on this case, and this is 1998. It's almost 99, and all of the teeth are in now, and we're going to get this off. And now we have removed everything except we've got a 3-to-3 retainer welded on these cases down here. And this tooth will come up if it bumps there. Sometimes you can put a double separator, push it back. You watch this case though until something is done with the wisdom teeth. And we started this out, I don't know, it's been 6 or so years before you're going to finish a case like this. And I'm not advocating you jump on stuff like this when you first start learn the orthodontic stuff. Now I've looked at the computer, and we've got thousands of videos on some of the stuff of orthodontics. It's so simple. This is not a simple thing to do, but I want you to learn how. Now this is in a class 1 relationship now. Everything's meeting, and we've got room for these teeth to erupt in the mouth. This may be a little crowded in here, but the tooth can be to the side over there. And now let's get on in with the case. There's where we started out. It was 91 and 8 of 91, I guess, when we started. And that's 94. And here we're finishing this young lady up, and we've got a real nice case going here with a class 1, and you can follow through this. Got this little defect in the central tooth, and we can move this tooth down some and maybe trim this a little bit in here and reduce that, but you'll have to fill that with a composite to close that up. Now there's the step down arch. Now this is 95. Now we reduce the vertical height of the face to some. It's pretty close to normal now. She's still got, this is 96, and we're finishing the case. 96. Now we get that deciduous tooth with the stainless steel crown has delayed us, and now it's 97, and we're finishing that out. Now the teeth, this where we had that stainless steel crown, this is just coming in. You could have speeded it a little bit surgically going in and taking the tissue off of that, which would give it a freer path to come up through quicker. And let's go on to the finish of the case. It's 98. Now that tooth is in, but it's an oblong tooth. It's taking up more space than a regular size tooth down here. And we've got the second molars manded, everything. All right, here is the starting picture, And there is the finishing picture of this young lady. And the same thing over here. Here's the start and the finishing. That's 99 and that was 94. So we were about 5 years in treating that case. But you can't make the teeth come in quicker than that. So now this is 99 and 94. And here is the young lady's picture. And that's the finishing. Here's the finishing. And when we started, when we finished. Now I'm going to go back to this. This is in defense of eliminating some bicuspids in here. And this is one of the main reasons that we have this, is with the mixture of people in the United States and much of the world nowadays is mixed up like that. But I found a village, a school in Africa. Every student in there had the same protrusiveness, and none of them had crowded teeth. Everything was right. They nursed till they were about 3 years of age, and nursing causes you to pull your teeth together, and it also makes people develop their nasal airway. You can't nurse and breathe through your mouth. You nurse and the child breathes through their nose. And the African kids would ride on their mother's back, and they nursed till about 2.5 or 3 years of age. And they stay with them. The mother doesn't have another child, or she does, the young child will take the milk, and the older one, it's not fully grown, will get kwashiorkor, which is a lack of protein. It is a bad deal. But anyway, here is the finishing product there. Thank you for watching, and I hope you join our group and subscribe to it. We need a lot of people to sign up for this type of stuff. And if you know how to do it, form a study club and teach other people around you how to do this. It's a shame we don't have knowledge in this. It's generally known, so every dentist ought to know what they can do, and if they want to do it and do it right, let them do it. But they can't do this real tough stuff for a long time. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to close out here.